A high sugar diet, antibiotics, chronic stress, medication, the oral contraceptive pill, metal toxicity, exposure to chemicals, all of this may put you at risk of having candida. But what is candida? That is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in today's episode. I'm going to go through what is candida, the 10 health effects that can occur when you have candida, and then I'm going to give you 3 ways how you can improve your candida and hopefully remove it overall through your body. Let's get into today's podcast. It's Mondays with Mihaela. That's right, me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I absolutely love, and appreciate your support. For any of you who don't know me, my name is Mihaela. I'm a qualified naturopath and absolutely passionate about all things health, business, and overall success. Today is part of the Natural Health Podcast, the segment Mondays with Mihaela, which I release every single Monday of the year, and I have been for a while now. And Mondays, I provide you with healthy, sustainable, simple, savvy health hacks to optimize your health. And today I'm going to be talking about an interesting topic that you may not even have been made aware about. And this is the thing is, we go through life without even knowing about these things. But these things like candida are at the bottom, the root cause of many chronic health issues that we just push aside because we actually don't know what they are. We don't know what that symptom is. We don't know what is happening inside of your body. And what I mean by we is because the medical community, we're just so confused because we don't get to the bottom of why you are bloated. We don't get to the bottom of why you have the skin allergies. We don't get to the bottom of why you may not be feeling well, right? So today's topic is all about candida, and I wanted to make you aware of what candida is, right? Candida is a general term for yeast and fungal infection, most commonly caused by the species of Candida, and the most predominant being Candida albicans. Candida albicans is the most common one, right? So essentially, Candida is the most common non-pathogenic organism in the human microflora. Microflora, we all know about it. I'll go on about it. It's all in our gut, in our stomach, in our GIT. We talk about having the good and the bad bugs in our little stomach. So essentially, Candida is part of the most common non-pathogenic organism, right? But it can affect areas such as your gut, throat, mouth, genitals, skins, and so forth. However, it is an opportunistic overgrowth is associated with a switch to pathogenesis. So what this means is essentially we have Candida and we have a bit of it here, right? But then what can happen is as an overgrowth of it causes it to be pathogenetic, which means it's dangerous for us and it can cause a number of issues. So having a little bit of it in our gut is okay, and it's supposed to function in our body, and our body's supposed to function optimally with a little bit of it. And Candida is not only one of them, there's a number of gut bugs like that. But then when there is an opportunity, that's right, when there's an opportunity for it to grow, it will grow. And by it growing, so does our signs and symptoms, our disease, our the way we're feeling goes down, right? So what it does is it may trigger inflammation, immune suppression, and localized tissue irritation and damage, including increased intestinal permeability and skin mucosal irritation in the affected areas. The dangerous thing about Candida is that it can actually cause a biofilm around it, right? So we've got Candida here and it causes a biofilm around it, which means any antibiotics that you chuck at it, it's not going to kill it. It becomes resistant. It is so hardcore in there that it's very hard to break that biofilm and actually get to the Candida to remove it out of our body, right? So human fungal diseases can occur due to direct infection or as a reaction to fungal toxins. Chronic latent low-grade yeast fungal infections is associated with loss of microbiome diversity. And we've spoken about how key the diversity of our microbe is. It is absolutely key. It's not just that we have more bacteria, which can be damaging. It's about the diversity. We want it to be wide, a wide diversity of bacteria, not just that one bacteria, lots of it, because that can cause danger all around us. And what reduces the biodiversity of a bacteria is antibiotics use. Popping that pill is what causes the diversity to drop in our body, which then can result into Candida rising, right? So, and that can cause low-grade inflammation, like I said, immunosuppression, and also immune tolerance issues, right? So, like I said to you, for instance, 75% of women will have candidiasis of the vagina during their lifetime, and 90% of people diagnosed with HIV and AIDS will develop a candida infection. The severity ranges from mild, even asymptomatic, and so forth. So these are the risk factors. So general risk factors for someone getting candida, or the imbalance of candida in their body, not just their gut, includes a diet high in sugar, high in carbohydrates, refined foods, lifestyle with smoking, alcohol, all that will increase that candida. Obesity is another huge one, and we know how many individuals in Australia are obese, are overweight, are obese. The numbers are just rising, but not only in adults, they're rising in children. So that's the scary part, right? The other risk factor is immunosuppressant states, such as having diabetes, having HIV, having Cushing's disease, having any immune suppressed disease may give rise to candida in your body. Also, the use of medication. Yes, I know I keep talking about medication, antibiotics, asthma inhalers, steroid medication, chemotherapy, the oral contraceptive pill. You need to ensure the medication that you're taking in your body, you know what that does to your body. Not just the benefits, but also the side effects it has on you. You need to be made aware of that before you put anything into your body. And I'm not just talking about medication, I'm also talking about supplements and food. Before anything goes into your mouth, you need to know what is happening in your body, okay? You need to be your own doctor. The other thing is heavily metal toxicity, mold, and so forth. These are the things that give an opportunity for candida to rise within your body. Now that I've given you a little summary of what candida is, I haven't even gone into the ins and depths of it, but I've just given you a little bit of a summary of what it is, what the risk factors are, and so forth. I'm going to talk about 10 health effects of candida that you may not even be aware of. That's right, 10. Let's get straight into it. Number 1 is yeast infection, vaginal yeast infection. That's right. Unfortunately, a lot of us women have experienced this, and it is not fun. It is far from fun having a vaginal yeast infection. It is not something I would wish upon anyone. It is irritating. It is annoying. It is just annoying, right? So recurrent yeast infections are perhaps the most obvious sign of a candida overgrowth. Repeated yeast infections are a clear sign that something in your microbiome is not okay. So like I said, more than 75% of women will get vaginal yeast infections during their life, and 40% will have 2 or more yeast infections. That is a lot of women out there. 75% of women would have had a yeast infection, and of those, 40% are going to keep getting them, right? So what are some of the symptoms of that? Is itching, pain during intercourse, swelling, discharge, having that white cottage cheese discharge, right? The characteristics of yeast infection that are very important to know. Even if you clear up your localized yeast infection, and that means around your vagina, inside your vagina, it has the ability to grow and spread to different areas of your body. And I'm going to talk about what effects it has on other parts of your body, because you may think, hey, I removed that yeast infection on my vagina, but did that actually remove the candida? Is there still an overgrowth of candida happening inside of your body? Okay, let's get into it. Number 2 is body odor. So when we're out there, when we're at work, when we're in a bus, when we're in a train, when we're actually socializing and we're able to smell other people, we may be like, ooh, what is that smell? I can't get my hands to it. It's not that sweaty smell. It's that just the foul, something's gone off smell, right? And that actually may be the die-off of candida. Right. So what may actually be happening is the individual might be detoxing and the smell may be coming out of them. And that can be caused by an overgrowth of candida. So something as simple as body odor can mean that you may have an out of balance of your candida in your body. So that's an interesting one that a lot of us just go, meh, we don't know what it is. It must be just, that's the way I swear. I've always been like that. But why? This is where we need to go into. Why do I smell? Why does someone I know smell? We need to get to the bottom of it. There's a reason for it, okay? The next one I'm going to be talking about is digestive issues. Number 3, digestive issues. It is after all that common digestive issues are so common these days. It is extraordinary how many of us have digestive issues. You know, it has literally become normal to be bloated. I mean, you look left, you look right, and you see just everyone bloated. Your family and friends are just waking up, or at night time, they're just like, I'm so bloated. I don't know why I'm bloated. I've given up this, I've given up that, and I'm just bloated, right? It may be candida, all right? Whatever causes your candida, whether it was a couple of antibiotics that you have taken throughout your lifetime, or you're having that high sugar diet, right? During a candida overgrowth, your gut flora will become imbalanced. It is a given, right? As well as weakening your immune system, which can have a huge effect on your gut microbe. So when a healthy gut microbe is overwhelmed by opportunistic pathogens like this candida, get it? Opportunistic. So when there's an opportunity, it will grow. But we want to not give it an opportunity. By having your high carbohydrate diet, by having your high sugar diet, by having your, a high antibiotic diet, popping the antibiotics, you're giving an opportunity for it to grow. Digestive issues related to candida can be gas, diarrhea, bloating, constipation, cramps, nausea, and so forth. There are so many issues related to gut issues that candida can cause. So, is your bloating due to candida overgrowth? That's something that you need to question yourself. Let's get into the next one. The next one is chronic fatigue syndrome. That's right. As much as everyone says, oh my gosh, I'm bloated, everyone's also saying, I am so tired. But so bloating and being tired maybe thanks to our little candida bacteria, yeast infection, right? Thank you, candida, for making me tired, and thank you, candida, for stuffing up my digestive system. But the good thing is, if we know that it is candida, we can fix it, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about later on. Okay, so a gut imbalance like candida overgrowth could be to blame because of this, right? Because it affects your energy levels. So there are a number of reasons how it can happen. I'm just gonna give a bit of an overview, right? So the first one is your nutrients absorption, right? So what actually happens when you take, for example, antibiotics, the disruption balance of your gut microbe, it affects it dramatically, right? One of the most immediate things that it does, it affects your nutrient absorption. Nutrient absorption affects it straight away. Your gut is in place where much of the digestive heavy lifting takes place. Is here that nutrients are broken down, processed, and absorbed. And if it impacts your gut that much, you might be eating the best food ever that you believe is the best food, and then you're actually not absorbing those minerals and vitamins that you need. It's just getting wasted, right? Or if you're having that sugar diet, your candida might be like, yummy, right? And eat it all up. The other one is also, this was interesting, right? I found a research study that noted that candida overgrowth is associated with deficiency in important nutrients like essential fatty acids, magnesium, iron, vitamin A, and vitamin B6. Low levels in any of these nutrients, especially magnesium, can result in fatigue. So if you have candida overgrowth, you're not going to be absorbing these minerals and vitamins and even these fatty acids, which means, of course, you're going to be fatigued. It makes total sense for you to be fatigued. I would be surprised if you're not fatigued. It would be an issue if you're not fatigued, right? So that is one of them. The other one is ACETALDEHYDEs, right? What are these? Well, this is what gives us a hangover effect, right? In healthy individuals, the small amount of acetaldehydes produced by candida are easily processed by the liver. The liver just goes and processes it out and off it goes and goodbye, see you later. However, if a person has an overgrowth of candida, this is where the issue is. So the liver becomes overworked and it struggles to process a large amount of aldehyde, and this builds up right? A buildup of acetaldehydes, ethanol, and other toxins can slow down various processes in your body and also other things, which makes you fatigued. This makes total sense why you would be fatigued. So the other one is number 5 is sinus infections. This is such an interesting one because I know a number of individuals who have sinus infections always. But you can't be like, oh, it's because of Candida. Is it? It may be. Let's look into it. So common signs with a sinus infection include a runny nose, nasal congestion, loss of smell, and headaches. So although short-term sinus infections are mostly caused by bacteria, that's important to note, long-term and chronic sinus infections are believed to be fungal. A study done by the Mayo Clinic looked at a group of 210 individuals with chronic sinus infections and found that 96% of them had fungi in their mucus, right? But what usually happens, because they're caused by bacteria at the start, or, if you go to a GP and they're like, oh, you have a sinus infection, it's bacteria, what am I going to give you? Antibiotics. What are antibiotics going to do? They're going to smash your gut microbe. They're going to remove the good bugs, and they're going to give an opportunity for your Candida to grow. So what are you actually doing here? It's an ongoing cycle, right? All right, let's get into the other one, joint pain. Who wants pain? No one wants pain, especially joint pain, because then you're able to do the things that you love, like walking, working, just doing normal things, because you have this joint pain, which is just so annoying, right? So uric acid is another toxic byproduct of Candida, and it can lead to joint pain in various parts of the body, right? So if it builds up to a sufficient level, uric acid which can lead to, as we all know, gout, right? Which is a form of arthritis associated with pain, stiffness, and swelling in your joints. So these attacks can happen when there's too much uric acid. Here comes a gout attack, and it's like, oh, I can't move, it hurts, and so forth, right? So long-term high-level uric acid can actually do some damage to your tendons and your joints, right? So there is also a particular kind of arthritis that's mostly directed to Candida. If a Candida infection is left untreated for too long, there's a chance that it may enter the bloodstream and appear in joints like knees and hips, and is also known as Candida arthritis, which is very, very interesting. The next one is depression and low mood, which is such an interesting one because there's so many individuals who have low mood these days, and it can be caused by Candida due to a number of different ways. One of them is the suppression of the serotonin pathways, right? Candida overgrowth can suppress the production of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that essentially boosts your mood. Most serotonin is produced in the gut, and major gut problems throw this out of whack, right? The other one is a reduced level of dopamine. Dopamine may even be even more exciting than serotonin, but debatable. We'll go into that when I talk about neurotransmitters. Essentially, dopamine is another neurotransmitter that affects your mood, and low dopamine levels are strongly associated with depression. Candida has a role in play here too. It's one of the metabolites, acetaldehyde, which I spoke about earlier, binds with dopamine, so it binds with it, making it inactive, right? This incidence is also the reason why alcoholics tend more towards depression. And now it makes you think and go, ooh, there's so many other things that happen in individuals that are depressed, right? The other one is vitamin B12, right? Overworked liver reduces the ability to store and use vitamin B12. Why is your liver overworked? Because of what I spoke about earlier with removing the toxins out of your body that are produced by Candida. Thanks very much, Candida. So vitamin B12 is absolutely key in linked to depression and mental illnesses. Let's get into the next one, which is a difficulty concentrating and brain fog. I would say frog, but it's fog, brain fog. It's kind of like you have a frog in your head anyway when you have brain fog. So a chemical called acetaldehyde, which I've spoken about again and again and again, which is caused by Candida, is here to blame for our brain fog. It's one of the many chemicals produced by Candida. Others include ammonia and uric acid, but it's acetaldehyde that is likely to have the greatest effect on your well-being. If your head is permanently foggy, you struggle to stay focused, and you have a more forgetful than usual Candida may be the cause of it. The toxins that are released by Candida may be affecting it, right? The reason why is there's two reasons why. Red blood cells that combine with ACETALDEHYDE can carry less oxygen to the brain and travel more slowly through the blood vessels. The other one is that ACETALDEHYDE can cause a deficiency in vitamin B1, which is absolutely crucial for brain health. So many other things, not just brain health, B1, right? And a lot of individuals who drink a lot of alcohol are actually deficient in B1. So essentially, and the other thing that I wanted to also put in here, which is quite interesting. So as we can see, Candida can do so many things in our body. It can cause so many issues. It can cause so much havoc and drama in our joints, in our digestive system. It can cause even acne. It can cause acid reflux, allergies, asthma, bleeding gums, bloating, body odor, constipation, cracked tongue, dizziness, diarrhea, flu-like symptoms, rashes, insomnia, irritability, itchy anus, mucus in the stool, nausea, panic attacks, poor concentration, poor memory, psoriasis, eczema, and so forth. Like the list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on, right? So this is why it's so confusing, and a lot of people have an overgrowth of Candida for years before they figure out they have it, right? I wanted to put in here the most severe case of an overgrowth and what can happen, right? There have actually been studies conducted on individuals who suffer from severe mental conditions such as manic depression, autism, ADHD, and schizophrenia. Whilst it isn't said that an overgrowth of Candida is necessarily the cause of these complicated conditions, it does show that an antifungal approach with regards to medications were able to reduce the severity of some cases. Did you just hear that? That is mind-blowing for individuals who suffer from depression, autism, ADHD, and schizophrenia. Mind-blowing, right? So William Shaw, PhD, was one of the many who were able to connect yeast overgrowth in children suffering with autism. Other studies show that Candida released certain toxins in your body which affected the nervous system, possibly causing depression and ADHD in some sufferers. So this author that wrote this article that I've read is that he shows that overgrowth of Candida is one of the least known symptoms of schizophrenia. So while the most common symptoms are uncomfortable, it's also good to recognize that there are some other symptoms, right? So it's kind of looking at what is happening in our body? Why are we having what we're having in our body? And it can actually cause such severe cases, absolutely severe cases, such as affecting our nervous system. We don't want our nervous system being affected, because when it affects our nervous system, there goes our mood, there goes depression, there goes anxiety, there goes mental illnesses, there goes our brain fog, our thoughts, and we're unable to be as productive as we want to be. We're unable to be us. We're unable to be who we are and put forward what we want to put forward because of Candida. And it's kind of like, do you want Candida to rule your life? Do you want Candida to cause all these issues such as chronic fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues, recurring yeast infections, sinus infections even, food sensitivities, which I didn't even go into, but so many issues, fungal infections of your toes, which I didn't even go into, weakened immune system, joint pain, low mood, low libido, you name it. The thing is that I want you to take control of your health. I want you to take control of your Candida, grab it and remove it out of your body, as in not completely because we need some, all right, but remove the overgrowth. We don't want the overgrowth to happen. But then you're like, Mihaela, how do I do that? Let's get into how to do it. Tips on how, let's get into it. Tips on what you can do to remove Candida out of your body, or even just reduce it, right? Let's get straight into it, right? Your Candida treatment will largely depend on what is happening in your body. It is personalized, it is individualized. So what I'm going to talk about in a few minutes is an overall effect, right? It may not work on you. It may work on you. It just depends what your symptoms are, how long you have had these symptoms, what you have tried, what you haven't tried, right? So these are the things that we need to look at. However, the key thing that you need to know, if you're going to deal with Candida, you need to rebalance your gut. This is the number one key, is to rebalance your gut, anything with Candida, all right? So the 3 ways to go about it is weed, seed, and feed. I know, it's kind of like weed, seed, and feed. That's what we need to do. Number 1, weed. What does that remove? So what do you do when you go to your garden to weed? You remove the weeds. We remove the weeds. So what do we do by that? We remove foods, we remove products, we remove things that are giving opportunity for Candida to grow, right? We also use natural antibiotics such as garlic, wormwood, black walnut, ginger, grapefruit seed extracts, barberry, poldarco, and so forth, right? There are so many things to use. It just depends what is happening inside of your body, which one you're going to use, and on your symptoms, right, that you may be presenting with. So removing also toxic products in your environment, and also removing things in your environment which are giving opportunity for the Candida to grow. That is number one, and that might take weeks, it might take months. It depends, like I said, on the individual. This is why it is key that you work with a healthcare professional that understands Candida. Your healthcare professional needs to understand what Candida is, but also needs to understand what Candida is doing currently in your body. Not anyone else's, not what the textbooks say, but what's happening inside your body. Number two is seed. We need to seed the gut, right? We need to add beneficial bacteria back into the gut. Digestive enzymes are used for this. Restore stomach HCl, hydroxylic acid in your body, right? If it's low, we need to make sure that it is on point. We need to seed, right? What do we do with the weeds? So we weed them and then we seed them. We put the seeds on there so it's able to grow. But then number three is feed. We need to feed those seeds. So what we do here is we feed your body with beneficial probiotics and so forth to make sure that the bacteria is growing and the good bacteria is growing. There's not opportunity for things like Candida to overgrow. We need to rebalance your gut. So there you have it in 3 simple steps: weed, seed, and feed your gut, so you're able to take control of your body and remove that unwanted Candida, the overgrowth of Candida that may be causing damage to your health overall. I hope I shed some light on the health side effects that Candida may be causing to your body. Figure out what is happening inside your body. Go see, if you're suffering from any of the things that I've mentioned today, go see a healthcare professional that may be able to assist you with this, because it is not to be taken lightly. It is a serious issue and it will take months to repair your gut to get you on point. All right. Well, I hope that I shed some light on everything on this episode of the Natural Health Podcast. Do what you do best. Love, like, share this episode with someone that may be struggling with a Candida overgrowth. Okay, do what you do best. Until next Monday, love you.